John Q. Daily Public, and this is a brief summary episode for the development so far in the Stalker Clear Sky Reborn mod 2.53 Artifacts of Death, something, something, something. And I haven't really taken time to explain some of the background of or what's been really going on in part of my Let's Play so far in this mod. So that's why I'm taking the time to create this episode. Um, in the background is going to be some just general running around gameplay without any sound, just so you have something to look at other than a black screen in between different title cards that I've provided for summaries of things, and so you can see some of the data that I'm using for my analysis on this and try to figure out what's going on. First of all, I really like this mod. It's fun and a different challenge than the Clear Sky Complete, which I think is one of the better improvements on the vanilla game, which is almost unplayable in my opinion. I cannot tell you how frustrating it is to shoot somebody in the head with a brand new AK-47 and they don't die and the gun breaks and they kill you in one shot, which is one of the things that happened more than once on my original playing through the vanilla version of the game, which I didn't like very much. So the complete is a good other mod for Clear Sky for just the vanilla game, but this is the first complete conversion or new story elements added mod that I've ever played. Unfortunately, slash fortunately, this is a Russian mod and there's no walkthrough online, so I don't know how to complete it, and I have not been able to complete it yet. I've only put about 20 or so hours in before I started playing this Let's Play, so I'm going to kind of learn as I go through here with you. To transition into kind of some of the background here, Clear Sky, if you haven't already played it, is basically the story of S.T.A.L.K.E.R, who is in. Let me start again. S.T.A.L.K.E.R is the main character in Clear Sky. He is the protagonist, and the events of Clear Sky precede Shadow of Chernobyl and lead directly to the Death Crook S.T.A.L.K.E.R situation that you play through in Shadow of Chernobyl. Period. Clear Sky is a scientific faction who is neutral and just trying to study the zone, as opposed to the Duty, who is orderly, trying to destroy the zone, and Freedom, who enjoys anarchy and enjoys the zone. Various different bandit groups who are just trying to earn cashola, and various merc squads. Merc squads in this game are apparently allied with S.T.A.L.K.E.R and are not your enemies, and this is something unusual for me. Usually the two groups other than Monolith, which I'll talk about later, I always just automatically start war with when as soon as I see them are bandits and mercs. At the end of Clear Sky Vanilla is what looks to be the subject of the Russian rap video in episode 1 that is the lead into the game. I don't really like the music. It's not in a language I understand, which is fine, but they did a lot better video editing than I can do currently or have knowledge of how to do, so I got to give them credit for that, but say overall it's kind of cheesy. I don't understand what it says, but it looks like the events of the end of Clear Sky, where S.T.A.L.K.E.R finally has tracked down S.T.A.L.K.E.R as he tries to enter the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, and he S.T.A.L.K.E.R shoots S.T.A.L.K.E.R with a Gauss or some sort of special Gauss-like rifle that shoots some sort of electromagnetic something or others unexplained to stop S.T.A.L.K.E.R from further upsetting the zone and causing large emissions. He completes the mission that Lebedev, who is the general in charge of Clear Sky, has has been the main mission of S.T.A.L.K.E.R through the entire Clear Sky vanilla game. He completes that, and it causes some sort of zone explosion, and that's where Clear Sky ends. This version is kind of positing that that happens, but that emission creates a space-time anomaly that starts one or multiple time loops, which leads to Scar being quote unquote reborn and having to find the artifacts of death and probably like do the mission correctly this time or do something to make it happen differently. I kind of look at it as a Groundhog's Day type time loop, that or Donnie Darko type time loop. The Groundhog's Day function being, repeating the same things again and again until you get it right. And the Donnie Darko part of where the time loops are fragile and you can move in and out of them through specific actions, and you don't really know where exactly you are. So that's kind of the background of this. The information that I've gotten so far on here kind of falls into a couple categories. The overall situation that Scar is in, that he learns when he finally reaches the swamp and talks to Clear Sky's Professor Basha, and the information he gets prior to that in talking to and finding different NPCs, artifacts through the way. He basically, it seems to me, is in a separate time loop than the one where he reaches Clear Sky and he kind of steps into another one. This is also like maybe like a similar mechanic that was used as to explain how you could have multiple lives in Bioshock Infinite, which is also a really good game. When we first meet Professor Basha, I'll flip up a title card here to try to summarize what he has. He basically tells Scar that the zone freaked out due to the Clear Sky storyline, and the emissions are about to cause some sort of global war. Scar, or versions of Scar, is or are trapped in the time loops or mini time loops, and this version's Basha knows what happened in the space-time Scar is from, but Scar will be passing in and out of this time loop and into other ones, and basically the past is just as fluid as the future. To prevent all-out nuclear heck or to restore the main space-time loop, Professor Basha says, you have anything we can help you to go kick ass. There's money, guns, booze, heavily armed covert operators at a phone call and a helo right away. And you're free to sack out here and rest and trade with us. He goes on to say that his main mission for Scar to do in this, or Scar main mission that he's on and objectives to his achieve, are regarding getting to Lemansk. Lemansk in Clear Sky is the end point, the starting and the ending of the game. There's no way to get back across the river after you start the events there. You fight through various different things to get to the Chernobyl power plant. Lemansk, because of the events, was overtaken by Monolith after the zone freaked out. Two Clear Sky teams are cut off somewhere inside of Lemansk, and I don't know why exactly Lemansk is important to the zone and the Monolith right now. He gives Scar a couple of goals here. One, infiltrate the Monolith to get information about the group, Lemansk, the town, why it's important to the zone, and what's going on with the time loop if they know. Rescue those Clear Sky teams in Lemansk. Destroy the Monolith if possible, pacify the swamp, and defeat the lone wolves, who are the local baddies that you start off with fighting in a group war, or in a clan war against. Try to find out how to communicate with Sakharov and Yantar, who is cut off. And there's also Clear Sky team in Yantar that you need to find and rescue. That's the overall objectives that you learn after you've already done most of the episodes so far of the game to get there. To circle back now to talk about some of the other information that we've gained from interactions with NPCs here. First, one of the first people we meet is that gives us any information is the Wanderer. He's the underground trader. The Wanderer, or Wandy, as I'm going to call him here, basically is the first person to talk to S.T.A.L.K.E.R about the blow-by-blow account of S.T.A.L.K.E.R's colossal clusterfuck at the Chernobyl power plant. As a result of that colossal fuck up and the time loop he's in now, he has a woman's voice laughing in his head. He can quote walk through iron, but not steel, since basically that's crazy talk to be able to walk through one but not the other, or both, I should say. The woman is a constant background thing of sensual and mocking, giggling. Occasionally, she says things in Russian. I don't know what they are because I don't speak Russian. I'm monolingual. Um, the Wanderer, or Wandy, basically after Scar opens and bears his soul to him, basically says the zone is testing him. Yay! The zone is either metaphorically or anthropomorphically a woman, and that this is just part of the thing. Scar asks for Luke. Let's try to find Luke. Who Luke is kind of filled in bits and pieces through other people. Wanderer or Wandy says he'll do a favor if Zone, blah blah blah. Wandy says he would need a favor completed before he agrees to give Scar the information. Specifically, um, he needs to find Scar needs to find a stalker who bragged about being immune to chemical anomalies. We later find out that that guy's name is Kane. He needs to bring Kane's PDA back to Wandy, since Wandy is collecting information about the zone, and this guy apparently was kind of an asshole, and Wandy thinks he was talking big. And it's interesting that he's probably not immune to anomalies, but he wants to know why he would think that. I don't know why, but whatever. I didn't write it. As a result, Scar murders Kane, steals his PDA, and Scar is almost killed by bloodsuckers and being in the chemical anomaly. As a reward for this, Wandy basically gives Luke some information which is nearly worthless. Luke is an artifact hunter. Luke was talking to an unnamed guy on the duty base who is into stuffing dry mutants, which, yeah. So he should go and try to find that guy. I'll go in later kind of what I've done off camera to try to figure out what to do about some of these and the dead ends that I've reached. And if anybody has any other information that's listening to this that would be helpful, or things that they've found out that I've missed, or different interpretations, please comment on my videos, and I'd be happy to get your information and talk to you about it. Going forward then to Kane, what we learn after we murder him is look at his PDA. I didn't do a good job at flashing all these PDAs up on the screen, so there's screenshots of the PDA. Kane's PDA is one of the more interesting ones from my account so far. There's some obvious typographic errors in here, transpositions or Scrivener's errors. Basically, Kane was using his PDA as a dictaphone to create a record of what he was doing, diary entries. The time covered by this record is unclear. The PDA has 5 tracks on it titled 0212, 0213, 0217, 0281, and 0314. I'm guessing that 0281 is actually supposed to be 0218. But that's just my assumption. Using those as tracks, they're listed in reverse chronological order. So if we put them back together, basically the track summaries are these. Track 0212 is basically a woman's voice is haunting Kane. This sounds a lot like the woman in Scar's head, and this woman seems to not be held in by space-time, similar to Scar, and she apparently can use teleportation or teleportation anomalies. 0213, the immediately next entry, states that Kane basically went to a quote-unquote gunslinger stash, and Kane was told how to deactivate the timer. which was deeper in that area behind a steel door. But for some reason, he was overtaken by fear. Unclear fear of what, but it kind of implies the woman in his head, and fled the area. Track number 217 basically is only between the two stairs, or stars. It says I don't know, so I'm guessing it's stairs. It could be stars, but stairs are more likely to be run across and have things in between them. Uh, Track 0218 or 0281, depending. Uh, Kane finds the quote unquote Times Crossroads, and apparently this could be another name for Wandy, who is also may or may not be the underground trader, who probably is the underground trader, I mean, but I don't know if it's the same entity as the Crossroads, or if the Crossroads is not an entity and just a location. Kane basically talks to Wandy about his want to find artifacts, and to do that he needs equipment. Wandy, just like he was with Scar, is not very helpful. Kane basically goes out under some information from Wandy, and he basically is surveilling the stalkers. That we got the the quest to find Monets PDA. The that stalker's name is Spirit, so it's the Spirit Stalker group. And basically, Kane is just trying to wait them out to get to the anomaly field that they're next to. But apparently, there's some sort of thing nearby, which I guess is a bloodsucker, and fun ensues. You meet Kane and slaughter his ass, as at the behest of Wandy. And when the PDA is returned to Wandy by Scar, you get the other information that we just spoke about, kind of from about trying to find Duty. Wandy might just be taking in information about the zone because he's a story collector, but I think he's also interested on why Kane thought he was immune to these anomalies and looked to be immune to these anomalies when we ran across him, because he was pretty nonchalant in something that was really killing our health off. But he's probably also interested in what happened to Kane in his attempts to find the gunslinger stash. The next PDA that we find in the zone is on over by the tunnel in Agroprom where the train is. And there's a tower that has a high radioactive field on the top. If you go near it, you'll see a white dot. You climb to the top, and you'll find a PDA on a corpse. You open this PDA up, and it's Shaluden's PDA, as my guess on pronunciation. Um, Shaluden has some interesting information here. Um, he recently killed one. He has killed a or the deserter. I don't know if the deserter is a specific title like Scar or something like that, some sort of proper noun that's actually a name, uh, or there's just somebody who is a deserter that he killed, and he killed that person or that class of person at the quiet hideout, and there's a flash drive there. Um, One of Shaluden's associates, Barbos, hacked the quote-unquote duty general's laptop while the duty general was passed out. Um, Shaluden mentions 3 flash drives are located in Yantar in the factory. They are in wooden boxes, quote unquote. These flash drives have coordinates of hidden translations of different locations on them. No clue what this means. I don't know how to quote unquote translate flash drives, if that's something you do, or if it's something that just comes up and it's automatic when you find them. More about my attempts to find those in a sec here. Um, he also spills the clue that Monet's PDA is underground, which matches the information from Spirit, who gave us the quest to find it. Apparently, Sidorovich has another of the important flash drives. Sidorovich in this time loop is slightly more of an asshole than he is usually, a lovable asshole, and kind of an asshole in this time loop. He is hired and is protected by quote unquote four wildly mercenaries. Um, if you go and see Sidorovich, they will rob you of money, up to 4,000 rubles per time you go through them, um, at gunpoint with heavy machine guns. It is unclear, but who exactly or what exactly killed Shaludin, but most likely he was killed by mutants. The next NPC that we speak to is Vivisector. I call him Creepy Mustache, um, or just CM for basically obvious reasons of what he says. He has a very brief interaction with S.T.A.L.K.E.R. He apparently knows S.T.A.L.K.E.R. And just generally opens with like just wonderfully charming lines like "Life here is not like have sex with the girl on the fluffy bed," and we have some the dialogue is both internal and external monologue, and they say that apparently this is Creepy's favorite topic. Um, Scar and Creepy are woefully inarticulate or at least badly translated. I don't understand exactly what they're talking about. I don't understand the references. They talk about basically um, duty and dried grasshoppers and a old cockroach movie. The only point that I could understand from all of this information was basically experience and observation are useful, which is completely bizarre. I don't know why anybody would say that. Like, who would think that experience and observation are useful? Whatever. Scar asks Vivisector for help finding Luke or Luca. I don't know if that's translation, a typographical error or translation thing. I don't know. Creepy basically says that Luke is the best hunter. He doesn't really specify if the best hunter of mutants, artifacts, or both. From the other information from Wandy, he says artifact hunter. But they also mentioned interactions with different mutants with Creepy, so it could be both, or one person could be wrong. Um, Vivisector says that Luke has found a way into the Agroprom underground that is novel and new, and he tells Scar how to get there. He also asks Scar to pass his regards on if Luke is found. I don't know if this is because Luke and Creepy are friends, enemies, or lovers, because all of that could fall into the pass my regards thing. Find Luke is now one of Scar's new objectives, then, not after he talks with Wandy. Or before then. It's kind of weird where I don't know where to find a quest for Luke other than talking with Vivisector or Creepy. Um, and one last thing about Creepy is he can sell you some expensive and useful stashes from the Agroprom Underground. Both of the ones he can sell you have some pretty good loot in them, so you should buy them. Um, the last NPC I think I'm going to be talking about today is um, the information we get from the quest from Spirit, the stalker we first talked to. That seems to be somehow connected with the Hide, HIDE quest. The Hide quest, I think, is some sort of weird glitch. I have spent time just going and having something hold down my crouch key and walking away from the computer and recording what goes on to see if there's something that happens when I'm not there. Nothing happens, nothing changes. I think they just ask you to hide there so you can run into those stalkers and avoid the um, heavily armed zombies with RPGs and machine guns that are on the edge of the swamp in the same location where the zombies are that you need to take out in the vanilla storyline of Clear Sky. Uh, what we get from Monitz, or that's how I'm pronouncing it, his PDA is Scar. He thinks Scar is basically Anton Chigurh of the zone. He goes around and slaughters people, leaves bodies everywhere, and destruction follows wherever Scar goes. Um, which I think is a fairly accurate analysis of the actions of Scar. If you look at it, he Monat, Monet is trying to catch Scar. Uh, he is also not Scar, but Monet is antagonistic to bandits and to duty, and he is mocks Monolith. Um, a zone doctor is mentioned, and that zone doctor described as wearing a robe, quote, kind of like Black Surge, close quote. Um, Stalker Wolf, from that we know from Clear Sky, is one of the experienced stalkers who gives missions in Cordon and then again in the Army Underground, or not Army Underground, but the Army Warehouse area. Has apparently a twin who commands a squad of stalkers himself. Um, Wolf's twin had at one time, or still has, uh, one of the artifacts of death, which refer back as one of our objectives of Clear Sky. Monet wants to know the location of the artifacts of death, and also another person or another entity now the deserter also knows. So going back to what we learned before, Kane killed the deserter, I think, or Shaludin killed the deserter. Sorry, and Monet is dead, probably killed by the artifacts of death or trying to get them. So that's basically what we know from all of the NPCs and the PDAs we've found so far. Additionally, we have found another objective that's recommended in the first part of the joining the Clear Sky clan is to find the monster press, which we have already done. It's at the Awesome Shotgun, and I've also gone and found the art, the top end artifact um, detector. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head right now, and I apologize. I've done some other things to try to change out and find information using Wandy's information. I did an alternate version of time and went into when I first entered Yantar. I killed all the zombies there, got their guns, and then I went and tried to, instead of going to the Merc base, go to the duty base. The duty base is full of zombies, as you would see it on my episode where I clear that base out, and almost everybody dies in that. Even if you kill all the zombies, and if you do kill all the zombies, duty turns on you for shooting guns in their base. There is nobody who acts like an NPC or is an important character around the zoos or anything else, so I have no clue what goes on there. Going further from the episode that I was in, where I got to the Clear Sky base, I have gone back to Agripom to talk to Creepy about Luke, and as soon as I get near Creepy, it says I failed the quest, which is something that says you're not doing it the right way. So apparently that's not the way to go. Also, when I go back to the duty base, you're able to get into the duty base that is locked in the actual three-story building that's locked in with zombies inside. Clear the zombies out, and there is the traditional duty bosses and armorers and repairers and salesmen in there. The kind of asshole duty salesman on the ground floor, it does not appear in the versions that I've gone so far. Other bad leads that I've gone through are, other than hiding, doesn't produce any results in the swamp and at Agriprom. I've gone through and completed the Yantar mission after completing the using the Barrett to assassinate zombies. It does not open up the Sakharov mission, nor does it trigger the ability to find thumb drives. It just kind of stalls out, and I don't know if it's any use for any use of doing it at this time. I don't know what to do about that. So my plan for the next episodes here is to basically clear out the swamp and get it, to fully take it over, defeat the lone wolves, and see if that triggers the next set of vanilla missions where I need to transition to Cordon and talk to Sidorovich, and to see if that progression also gives me other options to go other places. I need to talk to Meat Grinder in the swamp, and I think Looter is the other person that we're supposed to talk to from the original objectives that you're given before you talk to Professor Basha. And then find there's women characters in the zone, and apparently you need to escort them, and they are related to artifact or artifact hunters. And that would progress the Reborn storyline further, as far as I know. And I'm going to try to do that. I also want to talk to Sakharov, and because this game seems to have a lot of different unique guns that all do damage to different mutants, I would like to try to find all the unique arms to use on all the mutants. So, in closing here, I don't know what the hell I'm doing with this game other than I've played lots of Stalker games. So if you have more information than me and have figured out something that I don't know yet, please let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate it. Please let me know if I'm way off on my analysis as well, if you think that I'm misreading something and that I'm missing a clue in the information that I've got, or if I've missed some clues. And if you have any other suggestions about something I missed or would like me to try out. I'm sorry that there's not any gameplay in this episode other than what's going on in the background. However, I just wanted to put something together to try to explain what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do on here, because I often am distracted by things getting shot at me when I'm playing the game, so I don't have a good way to organize my thoughts and get everything out. I really appreciate all of the views, subscriptions, and comments that I get from everybody, and hopefully we can get this done, or I can complete this mod with your help. So please let me know, and I'll try to do stuff and answer your questions, and hopefully you get some more information from me as we go along. Thanks for watching and listening. This is John Q. Daylight Public signing off. You have a nice night. Bye-bye.